Howdy y'all. This, obviously, is a sword. It is a Japanese katana style curved blade sword typically used for artsy performance practices and honorable samurai dueling. It's not the sort of thing that would commonly be brought into a war scenario, as back when this was a popular weapon, the warriors of that day did tend to carry a certain degree of morality with them into combat. They weren't like heavy into leaving people's body parts strewn all over the battlefield. This is more for practice. It's an elegant tool. Fun fact, the blade of this particular weapon, when forged, is done so by folding plate steel into itself and compacting it several times, which it acts similar to a spring does in that it effectively warps time-space around it. Combined with the curvature of the blade, it creates a kind of a drift effect where, if used properly, the blade, the sword, will, for all intents and purposes, kind of swing itself, which I think is cool, if used properly. Now, use it properly, and grip it whichever hand you throw with. I'm not sure if that's going to be the same as the hand you write with, because I write with this hand and I throw with this hand. I'm not sure if that's common, but with the hand that I throw with, and of course I use both hands because I've done this for years and years and years, but for the most part, you're going to grip it with the hand you throw with up here against the hilt. Grip it taut, right up against that guard. This hand, for the most part, should be free. It's just for guiding it. I mean, if you need to grip it, like if somebody's trying to steal it from you, you got it caught in something, go ahead and grip it. But for the most part, it should be free, just for guidance. Now, first and foremost, you are not going to like chop or swing this thing. It's not a fucking baseball bat. You are not swinging this thing like a stick. You'll break it. I don't care if it could be forged out of adamantium by the world's most reclusive and wondrous, samurai swordsmith up in the mountains somewhere. If you're using it incorrectly, you are going to break it. Use it correctly. What you're doing, coming up from your standing foot, your leading foot, which may or may not be behind you, depending. Whichever foot you're leaning on, you're going to come up from there, you're going to bring it up from the ground, momentum, energy, chi, whatever. You're going to bring it up from the ground into your hip, into your shoulder, into your elbow, and snap it like a whip. All of this should happen in one fluid motion. Basically what you're doing is you're throwing this hilt. You can forget about the blade, act like it's not even there. You are throwing this hilt like you would throw a punch, and you're dragging, sweeping the blade behind it. It should be parallel with whatever you're cutting. And if you're doing this properly, you got an edge on there, and you're using the sword properly. I mean, unless you're up against like a steel pole or a fucking Mack truck, this is going to slice right through whatever you're up against. So be very careful. If you pick one of these up from the mall, or you decide to purchase one somehow, you have one maybe lying around, a friend of yours has one, you decide to play with this, be very careful. But of course, be excellent first. Later.